here and there, but that's going to happen.
Number 1, Mr. Sanchez. Ruiz.
And when you're playing race to 5, often it can be just one mistake. That can be enough to decide the match.
Yeah, I feel like actually a couple of my matches was just like one mistake or one like bad break or something in the middle of the match when it was tied at like 3 or something. It cost me the match. Like when I played Josh, I just broke, really just broke dry. Broke dry. No, got kicked in at 3-2, and that was it.
Well, we appreciate you coming in to join us for a few racks off the back of that disappointing end to the day.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for reminding me.
A nice start here for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Overall, good day for you, though. I mean, you had a couple of wins earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive. I won 2 out of 3, so, you know, and I feel like I'm getting better as I don't play as much as I used to, but now I'm starting to play again, and I feel like I'm getting better every time I play.
I'll have to break out that Meatloaf song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That can be your anthem tonight as you come away from here. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, we were saying during that match, Skylar, is one of these players who just really seems to be taking it up to another level now. He's been established as a talented guy for some time, but he's had a lot of good results recently.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, since he was always getting deep in like some tournaments, and then he won a couple Euro tours like back to back, and now he won the Derby and all that. He's starting to like really win a lot.
Just to say, the action has resumed on the other table with the last match of the day there. David Al-Qaedi, who's been going so well, against Eklan Kachi, who's been anything but. He's lost 10 matches in a row now. Down at the bottom of the table, Al-Qaedi is in play with a chance to win the opening rack. This one hasn't been entirely straightforward for FSR Skylar, but he's handled it well. Looks like he's going to keep the momentum going here. So straight back on the table and picking up where he left off. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz leads 1-0. Let's have a look at the table then as we come towards the end of this penultimate day of the first phase. Remember, we'll know by round about this time tomorrow who's going through. I told you about the struggles of Eklan Kachi. Max Lechner perhaps missed the boat now as well. Naoki Oi and Lucius Yap looking for miracles. Mieszko Fortunski, a little less so. He's got one more match to play over those two. Well, 2 more actually than Oi. And Kelly Fisher there, well, despite that defeat, she's still in with a chance for how she could have used another win. And there you are, Skylar. You're in the 10 at the moment. So another day tomorrow like you had today. And you may well be with us for the weekend. Sean Ockey's win was much needed. Takes him on to 5. He's only got 3 matches left to play now. You see most of these players have either entirely or effectively secured their places in the next phase. But you see Omar Al-Shaheen, even in 8th place, he's a long way from safe. He's got 4 matches to go tomorrow. Might need to win 2 of them. But the real heavyweights up at the top there, Filler, Ocean, Shaw, and this man, Shane Van Boening.
Number 2, card score is 1-0, Mr. Sanchez Ruiz. Mr. Van Boening to break.
Nice first break for Shane. He's got a good shot on the one.
Still quite early in the year, Skylar. Hasn't been much tournament action yet in 2022, but in a way this is a great event to have early in the year because it really sharpens you up with so many matches so close together.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm really enjoying it, you know, getting to play a lot and you know, getting like back in stroke like fully. I mean, I'm playing good, like I said, but just haven't been playing as much as I used to, but back to playing now, so I'm excited. Like this event has been great already. I'm getting to play a lot and a lot of events coming up, so real excited.
10 seconds.
Oh, he's showing off his stroke there. Maybe too much.
Yeah, he might have pulled up just in time, but certainly wouldn't have intended to leave it there.
Attention, please.
It's about 10 weeks now, Skylar, since we were all in North London for the Mosconi Cup, which obviously ended in disappointment for you and your American teammates. And we were coming away from there saying America need to get some new players coming through to join the likes of yourself and Shane. And Jason Shaw, who obviously lives in America now, he was saying that he sees a lot of talent actually coming through in America and that he does feel there will be some new names on that team in the next few years. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, we do. We have some young guys coming up that are, you know, they're getting better all the time and they're doing good in events and beating players. If they ain't beating players, they're like battling with some good players. So they're just getting better all the time. So I think yeah, in the next few years we'll have some new faces on the team and stuff.
Any particular names that you fancy we should keep an eye on, or is it just a general pool of talent coming through?
You know, just from the first tournament of the year, you know, young guy that comes out is Shane Wolford. He did really good at the Derby. Got like
10 seconds.
6th or 5th or something. So did really good there, and he's playing a lot of events. So that's a new name coming up, and there's some younger guys, even younger than him, that are playing good. But I'm sure we'll be seeing some new guys soon.
What sort of age is he, the guy you mentioned there?
I think 23 or 24.
Kelly Fisher's point of view in terms of getting through. We just saw there Yap against
Bracket
Shaw
number 3.
will be last on table
Currently,
2 in the
we are
early
all
session.
tied at 1 game apiece.
I have a feeling
Mr.
we're going to see
Sanchez,
so much
Ruiz
drama tomorrow.
to break.
Early stages in this one though, it's 1-1. finished off quite nicely for him.
Yeah, just a little tricky, I guess, little. But I think he can draw straight across and back over for the 2. Because it doesn't look like if you draw 2 rails would be good, because you might come a little close to the 2. But you could, if you want to stay a little bit in the middle of the table. Unless you want to try to get a little straighter on the 2, you can just draw across and back over 1 rail. Yeah, he's looking at 2, so he's just going to take the cut on the 2.
Albin Ocean was in the commentary box earlier this evening, Skylar, and I was talking to him about how we haven't maybe seen quite as many break and runs as we might normally expect. So he was discussing possible reasons for that. How have you found the breaking here?
Yeah, I actually really like it, the way the break's been, because it's not been just real consistent where you can just hit it with like that baby pop break and play the 1 up by the corner and the wing ball goes every time. So the way the tables are breaking, you might make the wing ball, and then the next time you might not, which I really enjoy, because it's you're not 100% what's going to happen. So more people are having to hit the rack harder. So I really like it the way the tables are breaking.
Sanchez Ruiz absolutely launched into that. And got so much action on the cue ball. Certainly hasn't finished where he hoped to. Is he going to bank the 4 here, Skylar? No.
He might have left him the edge. It's close.
Just to clarify, what I was suggesting was maybe the bank shot to play the combination onto the 4, but didn't fancy it.
Yeah, I think he played the right shot. Just, trying to get behind the 9. Make sure you leave the 2 on the head rail. And if you don't get behind the 9, at least, get as close to the end rail as possible. Make it where he doesn't have the full cue ball. It looked like he went for the bank and left Francisco a shot on the 2. So good chance here. Take another 1-game lead.
We were talking earlier about your reputation for bank shots. So where did that come from? Was it just something that you always found came naturally to you, or was it something you worked on over time?
Yeah, they say like the best bankers come from like Kentucky, Ohio, like that area. So I'm from Kentucky. So I guess they say it runs in my blood. I don't know, but nah, when I was growing up as a kid, it seemed like that's what everybody played where I'm from. So I always played banks, and just continued to play, and as I got better, I started banking better also, but it was one of the first games I really played.
Yeah, you play all the different divisions and forms of the game, and they all help each other. You learn all kinds of different skills along the way.
Yeah, I didn't start playing one pocket though till I was a little older. Picked it up quite a bit in the last 4 or 5 years, but before that I didn't play it a whole lot. Still wouldn't say I really play it a whole lot, but play it more for sure.
Well, this rack is over now. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is going to lead for the 2nd time in the match at 2-1. Thanks to Skylar for dropping in. Carl Boys will be joining us after the break. FSR leads SVB 2-1. Turning into a night to remember for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Already this evening, he's had 5-1 wins over Alex Kazakis and Skylar Woodward. And he's leading here against Shane van Boening.
This is a very useful split. As you can all see, all the balls are sat pretty. That's table number 2. Eklund Katja, he's at the bottom of this league table. He's just got to play with for a bit of pride now.
Yeah, I should point out there's a prize money differential between every place. Even the players who don't make it through to the second phase will all still win some prize money, and every place higher up the table you get, you earn a bit more. Kachi now leading 3-2. This would be totally against the form book if he was to win, given how well Al-Qaedi's been doing. Shane van Boening has been breaking pretty well throughout the day. At times, though, he was bemoaning an extraordinary run of bad luck in terms of the finishing positions and the lack of chances that his good breaks were earning him. But everything went to plan this time. He had a good opportunity to run out. And he's made it a very brief rack.
A lot of the players, you know, they have contracts with sponsors and Q sponsors, and pretty much every Q sponsor out there that the players are sponsored off, they get bonus money as well. So it's usually not just what the prize money is there on paper. Usually they've got all these added bonuses.
There's a very good living to be made now for a number of players. It's not just the top 2 or 3 who can make a serious full-time living out of it anymore. A lot more players than that can really give themselves a very good life from pool.
Yeah, well, I noticed, I did see a money list just before I come to this event, and it's not something I usually talk about as such, but I noticed Fedor Gorst was on something like $95,000, and, well, that's not bad, seeing as we're only in February.
Yeah, and I think the sort of prize money tallies we'll see this year will be the highest ever, really, when you consider how many really big money events there are.
Yeah, I fully agree, Michael.
Game's come a very long way, even within the last 2 to 3 years. This man's come a long way in the last few months. He'll be itching to get into that schedule and play all these tournaments, see how he can do. Can he build on the improvement he's been showing of late? We talked about his Euro Tour wins. His Derby City Classic success, where he beat Joshua Filler in the final. But also in the last 12 months, he's done well in some of the very biggest events with the really long matches. Got to the last 16 of both the World Championship and the US Open last year. And you look at the way he's playing, and then you consider David O'Cady, who's just banked the 4 on the other table as he chases a 3-2 lead against Eklund Kachi. Look out for Spain in the World Cup this year.
Yeah, the World Cup of Pool, Michael, Spain, probably underachieved over the years, to be honest. They've played a lot of tournaments together, they travel together, they practice together. I think they need a real good run in that tournament. Final, win, runner-up, consistently. Just never quite done it there.
Yeah, they've been in the semi-finals, got there for the first time in 2019. Obviously, there was no World Cup in 2020 because the world was largely shut down for so much of that year. They went in as 3rd seeds last year. Lost in the first round to Italy, which was a big disappointment. There's so many really surprising results, even some far more surprising than that in last year's World Cup. But then who am I telling? You were very much a part of it. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz then, leading Shane van Boening, 3-2. And his mate is 1 ball away from doing the same on the other table. Yeah, nicely done. So within a few seconds of each other, Al-Kaidi and Sanchez Ruiz both arrive at a 3-2 lead. And this is one of the big attractions coming up soon, and it's very much in the news this week because it's been announced that the World Masters will be going back to what's become its established home in Gibraltar for its 26th staging in early May, and tickets are on sale tomorrow morning, 10 AM UK time. Matchroompool.com is the place to go. And even if you don't live in that part of the world, it's a wonderful trip, Carl, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you love pool and you've never been to the Masters in Gibraltar, I suggest you book your tickets and go, because Gibraltar is a real fantastic place to go. Everything's close by. The venue's amazing. You can stay in the town centre. There's lots of bars and restaurants, and you'll have a splendid time.
Be a nice time of year to go there as well in early May, just before it gets the real searing temperatures.
Break's been kind again. SVB has a shot. Now he's got to top this ball through and try and miss the 2 on the right hand side of it to play the 2 in the same pocket as this 1. Needs a little bit of help, and he hasn't got it. Safety shot is very inviting. He could play a bank shot up into the top left pocket. Maybe he could even thin this in, but it looks very thin to me. The bank shot, you'd go close with that. Well, he's eyeing up the thin, so clearly the thin shot does go. The only problem with cutting this ball in is it's going to be very hard for Shane to get on the 3. But that's what he's playing, so he's obviously spotted something I haven't. Maybe he's trying to run into the 9, hold the cue ball. Could even fluke the 9. Well, would you look at that? At that pace to hit the 9 full, that's tremendous.
Yeah, he's always producing little things out of the ordinary, and it served him very well there. So it's blow for blow stuff. Sanchez Ruiz now in front for the 3rd time. Van Boening closing in on levelling for the 3rd time. We're talking about the money you can make out of pool nowadays. We're never quite sure exactly what players have earned in their careers, because some tournaments maybe have not gone recorded over the years, and maybe there's a bit of a dispute sometimes over what should count and what shouldn't. What we do know is he's around $2 million in career earnings. He's up there with Efren Reyes, who's still regarded as the all-time leading money winner, but there's not much in it. A couple more good years for Van Boening, and he'll definitely be the all-time leading money winner. Still only 38. Much older than most of the leading players nowadays, but you still feel he could have a few very good years left in him. And it's 3-3 now in this match. Another close finish for us here on the 4th night of the Predator Premier League. Two tight finishes to send us towards bedtime on day 4 of the Predator Premier League. 3-3 between Eklund Kachi and David Alcady over on table 2. Here on the main table, it's the same situation between Shane Van Boening and this man, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Oh, he had a shot at the 2-ball. The 3-ball come round and knocked it behind the 8. We see this all the time in pool. Obviously, when you're breaking 9 balls, you can never determine where the balls go. This is just part of the game.
Yeah, and never assess the lie of the land in terms of where the balls finish until they've all finished. Just when you think you've got something, one can just appear out of nowhere and ruin all your plans.
Sanchez might be tempted to push the cue ball a little bit closer to the 8. And then give Shane the option of the jump. Suppose that all depends on how skilled he feels he is with the jump cue. You do see that often where they just touch the white. He needs to get it a little bit closer to the 8 though, so maybe it's not a good decision after all. But it's not an easy push out, this. This is why Francisco has took the extension. He's going to do this. Got to be careful he doesn't get too much on it. Yeah, that's fine. Because the worst case there would be the cue ball roll up and touch the 8, and then there's no jump shot on. Do you play the jump shot or do you pass it back? It's a funny situation, this. You always feel like you should play it, but then sometimes you give it back. They jump it in and run out, and you think, why didn't I have a go for that? So I ain't going to argue with SVB. He's won far more than me in the sport of pool, and he's got his jump cue, so I'm going to say he's right. Middle pockets are really tight, so this one's going to have to be accurate, and this will be going in with a little bit of pace. And he's missed it and he's left it, so smart decision by Sanchez with the push.
It's a good chance for 4-3 now, and David O'Cady looks like he's going to get to that position on the other table. He's got 3 balls left
10 seconds.
against what I have to be honest and say is a thoroughly fed up looking Eklund Kachi. Won his first match all the way back on Monday, has lost every one he's played since. You may have been watching earlier today when he was actually docked a rack at the start of his match against Shane Van Boening because he was still asleep. Arrived at the table already 1-0 down. So it's been a pretty miserable day for him all round.
Cue ball's just run on a tiny bit further than he would have liked. I'm not saying that's going to cause him any problems, but he's going to be playing this off the 2 rails. Pace is key. This needs to slow down. That's fine. Good shot. Back in prime position. Always nice when it's 3-3 in a race to 5 when you're the first player to get on the hill. You always feel like you've got that little bit of an insurance policy.
Yeah, and if it goes the distance, he'll have the break in the deciding rack. And if that's to happen, Shane Van Boening is going to have to win the 8th because he's just gone 4-3 down. 4-3 also, as I was saying, next door between David O'Cady and Eklund Kachi. Do you think his experiences here over the last few days are going to play on Kachi's mind, Carl, or will he just put it out of his thoughts and move on to the next challenge?
It's not going to affect him moving forward, but I would like to see it affect him in a good way. I'd like to see a little bit more professionalism in the sense of he didn't really understand the format, which is pretty unbelievable. Obviously, he slept in this morning, he was up late, so he couldn't get to sleep, but he is a night owl. And in this type of format, Michael, as you know, you're playing a lot of pool. You've got to be ready from the get-go, you've got to be fresh, you've got to eat well, you've got to sleep well. So moving forward, if he's going to play in this event again, I'd like to see him approach this a lot better, because he's a lot better than this. We all know that.
Oh, without a doubt, he's got a fairly simple 3-9 combination to take that one to Hill, and he's made it. So 4-all there. Shane Van Boening looking for the same situation here, but that is far from ideal, Carl.
He has been breaking well, Shane. He's been putting a lot of balls off a lot of breaks, but he's not been getting a lot of shots. But when you're breaking at full maximum speed, it becomes a lot harder to control the cue ball. Fair enough, that did get kicked, and that's why it's ended up down there. He's trying to get the cue ball up behind that pink 4. I don't know if he can protect the 2 ball, maybe bank the 2 ball. Oh, he's double hit it. He needs this to slow down, and it could have been worse. He was trying to play off the edge, roll the cue ball off the side rail, up behind the pink 4 and the red 3.
Oh yeah, that could have been so much worse. If he scratches there, ball in hand from this position, might as well start packing his cue away.
Extension, please.
The 2 ball does pot in the corner past that purple 5. But as top professionals, you're always looking for the natural angle. And what that means is, if he pots the 2 ball in the centre of the pocket, where's the cue ball going? What line is it taking? If it's going towards the 9, and he's clipping the 9, this is his worry. Oh, well, he wasn't. So you see what I mean? He potted the 2 clean. The natural path missed the 9, so it was actually worse for Shane than we first thought. It was a good pot, though.
Yeah, it was. So we were saying, with ball in hand, that would have been so much easier, but he was up to the challenge anyway, and he's just bouncing around the table, just looks full of confidence and belief. Looks to be in really good shape as well. It's going to be a massive year for him, you know.
Yeah, obviously Albin, Jason, Shane, Filler, they all got off to good starts, didn't they? And they've continued and they've stayed up near the top. But Sanchez, he got off to a terrible start, and since then he's dug deep.
Yeah, he lost his first 3 matches. In fact, it all started for him with a 5-0 defeat. I've not seen many of those this week. That was against David Al-Kadi.
Looks like he's done the hard work now. Just needs another good shot here, but he's favourite to pot this 5. And then he just needs... He needs to actually land on the right-hand side of this 6. If he lands kind of where the cue ball is now, it could be a little tricky. So he wants this to stop. Even if it lands straight, he'll be fine. He's good here.
He only played 1 match in the early session, and he almost beat Josh Filler. He was beaten 5-4 in that. But what a night it's been for him. Played 3 matches. Beat Alex Kazakis. Then beat Skylar Woodward. Only lost 1 rack in each of those matches. This has been a bit more competitive. But it looks like being the same outcome now. He's going to move on to 8 wins. And he's still got 2 more matches to play tomorrow.
Yeah, and after he pots this 9, Michael, he may as well stay in the arena because his buddy's nearly